Hello, sorry, having some technical issues. We think we're good to go now. Okay, beautiful, we are. So today is a special request. Had a lot of people say that they are feeling just heavy-hearted lately. A lot of stuff going on. They just can't grasp well and understand bigger picture things, or they're just struggling with work and life and sleep and everything like that. So they requested more of a yoga for a heavy heart type of practice today. So that's what we're going to do. So if you have any props, make sure you have them with you. Any sweatshirts, any socks, anything for comfort. This is the practice you want to do them for. If this is not what you want today, totally understand, not a problem. I'd say scroll up farther in the feed, see the practice from last week. Go to the YouTube page, see if there's a different practice that may float your boat a little bit better today. But I think that we can all kind of benefit from this. So we are going to do some alternate nostril breathing. Basically, I do this because breathing in the way that you choose is something that you can control. If you're struggling with a lot of things that are out of your control, can we do something that is in our control? And breathing is in our control. So we're going to do alternate nostril, in one way, out the other, in one way, and out the other. And since we're starting a couple minutes late, I will still do the full half hour, so don't worry. We'll just add on a couple minutes to the end. So if you can't breathe in through one nostril, out the other, because of it being the time of year or allergies or anything like that, just worry about just big breathing in and breathing out. I put one finger on one side of the nose to literally block it off. So and this is something that you can do anytime that you're struggling with anything. Taking things out of your control, putting things back in your control. Whether that's journaling, whether that's deciding to make healthy food choices, whether that's deciding to take a shower when maybe you don't want to. What can you control? So some of these postures today, we're only going to do a couple postures. We're going to hold them for a decent amount of time, like 3 minutes at a time. Really just focusing on being in that moment and worrying about just those body parts that we're stretching or relaxing. So I'm going to do a couple more rounds. All right, so we're going to start out in Sphinx today. So I just have my little bolster here just for support if I feel like I need it. But for Sphinx, we're going to be on the ground, on our bellies. We're going to have the weight distributed on our whole forearm. I would like your shoulder and elbow to be in line. And I want you to just look down to the ground and just relax that neck. Or you can be active here and pulling those shoulders back and down and pretending like there's headlights shooting out of your shoulders, the front of your shoulders, and they're just giant headlights just illuminating your future. So you decide, do you want it to be like a very bold posture here, or do you want to be more of a relaxed, just kind of hang and just kind of contemplate posture? You decide. We're going to hold this. We're about 30 seconds in now. We're going to hold this for 3 minutes total. So you can decide, and you can change it. You can go back and forth between the two. You can be big and bold for as long as you feel like you're able, and then you can take that time, reconnect, refuel yourself, and then come back. You can decide. Sometimes yoga can be a very just kind of go with the flow, literally type of thing, and sometimes it can be a lot of deeper life choices involved. So it all depends on what you want to get out of it today. We're trying to relax those glutes as much as possible. We don't want to be squeezing. And if you need to adjust your arms in any way, shape, or form, please do so. If you want to maybe stick a prop underneath here, like this is comfortable. Really spreading out the fingertips as much as you can. No matter where your head is, I would like you to look forward and then turn that head to the side and get a little side stretch of the neck. Bringing those shoulders back and down as much as you can. And then the other way. And back to the middle. We're just gonna tuck those toes under and push ourselves through tabletop. And just stay here for a minute. Doing a little play if that feels good, some little circles, forward, back, up, down. Just kind of find what a nice neutral back is for you today. And maybe see if you can feel here what muscles are tight. Like, did that Sphinx for that 3 minutes, was that challenging for you now? Do you feel something in those shoulders, in that chest, in that back? Does that feel good? Does that feel painful? What did that bring out for you? What can you control? All right, let's just sit back and move around those wrists and just do a little twist to one side. And a little twist to the other side. And come back to the center. All right, second posture we're gonna do today, a reclined or a leaning back lunge. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come on up. We're gonna make any adjustments we're gonna do, and we're gonna do this as a low lunge. If you wanna go high lunge, by all means, please do so, but we're kind of just sticking with easy, controllable things today, and I think that's where most of us are going to want to be, but you can do whatever you want. So we're just going to bring one leg out in front. So one knee is here, one knee is here. Now, let me get my stopwatch. What we're going to do is we're going to spend 3 minutes here as well. So this is a long time. So if you can't keep your arms up during this posture and do a little bit of, so we're going to be here. This is what we're looking for. Really shining that light forward and projecting out to yourself as much as you can. Or it can be a, here's my shield and I'm protecting something. Same thing, your choice. You can breathe deep, you don't have to. You can either have your hands at the hips and just pull back a little bit, or you can have your arms up. Your choice, but we're gonna be here for 3 minutes. If you need to pad underneath this knee, this is a good time to do it. So I'm just gonna do that really quick. All right, and when you're ready, decide arms are up or not. Arms are back and down regardless of where they're placed. And we're projecting goodness and wholesomeness forward. shining that bright light out of our heart. And this is a long time to do, staying with your arms up, especially because you're going to do both sides. So if you know this is going to be too much, here. But we're still doing that little bit of a recline here. The other option for your hands, you can have them in kind of heart center, or you can have them at heart center behind you. So we're doing this just back behind. You decide. But we're gonna do the arms the same way on both sides. So, and that means if you wanna change, every 20 seconds you wanna change, that's fine. Just make sure you're gonna do both of them. Both rounds the same. We're also getting a nice hip flexor stretch here too. You can decide how far in or far out you want this front leg to be for stability. While this is a little bit of a challenge to be here for 3 minutes, this should not be painful in any way, shape, or form. So adjust to make yourself comfortable. We have another minute here in this posture. So if you want to make any changes, this is a good time to do so. If you find leaning back is too much, you can be up nice and tall. If we're leaning back, we're just projecting and just shooting that light forward. Couple more breaths here. And we're just going to lean it so we're up nice and tall. And then we're going to bring those hands nice and slowly coming out to the mat. When we're getting into these postures and holding them for a little while, sometimes you get a little stiff coming out of them, and we want to make sure that that's not the case. So we're just going to roll a little side to side, up and down. You can sit back on those heels, release the knees, whatever feels good for you. And then we're going to reset for the other side. So I have some padding, so I'm going to keep my padding. This is a great way to use up if you have an old yoga mat. I'd say save squares of it and make extra padding for your knees. All right, and let's bring the other leg forward. Decide where you want that foot to be, left, right, forward, back. And then we're just gonna go right into it because you know exactly what we're doing. We're leaning forward a bit with that knee. We're getting a good stretch in that hip flexor. And then we're leaning that torso back to where it's comfortable, where we can hold it and be reclined. Shoot that light forward and then make the decision on where you want your arms. And I moved them around a lot, so I'm going to move them around a lot here. And also, just because you did hold one posture in a certain way for 3 minutes, if doing this on this knee, for example, is too uncomfortable because of kneecap issues, whatever it happens to be, don't make yourself be in pain for 3 minutes. Adjust to something that is more comfortable for you. You know your body more than anybody. and control what you can control. And if being in a posture isn't what you want to control, then change it. One more minute here. Are we still shining that light forward? Taking big breaths in and big breaths out and just concentrating on this moment. Maybe like 4 or 5 big deep breaths. And then whenever your arms are, let's bring them down nice and slow. Bring them in front. And come back to all fours. All right, we have a couple more postures we're going to do, but first we're just going to recover here in a child's pose. You decide, do you want a wide-legged child's pose? Do you want something with support? Do you want knees together? Do you want arms behind? Make yourself into this little cocoon, this little recovery turtle pose posture. We're going to be here for 2 minutes and we'll move on, okay? This is just a little recovery time. You've given yourself to the world, you've projected yourself, and now you're going to take the time you need for you. Three more breaths. And then slowly bring yourself up. All right, so we're going to go into pigeon next. If you decide that pigeon is not where you want to be and you want to do a recline pigeon, please do so. I'm bringing my prop with me that I'm going to put underneath my hip as a support. And we're going to be here for 3 minutes as well. We're going to do a high pigeon for 1, and then the option to go into the lower pigeon pose, and then come up 1 more time for 1 minute high, and then we'll switch sides. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to my table. I'm going to bring one leg through. I'm going to bring that foot to 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and my knee to 3, or vice versa. And I'm gonna put this pillow right underneath that hip, so it's touching the ground. If your knee touches the ground, if your hip touches the ground, all body parts touch the ground, you don't need a bolster, totally cool. But if you do need one today, or always, grab it. So we're up here nice and high first for our first minute. This is kind of like our posture when we were doing that reclining lunge. So we're up nice and high. You can be on those fists rather than your hand if that was more comfortable for you. Same thing, you can either shine forward or you can drop that head down, whatever you need to do. All right, then we're going to come down to those forearms and rest that head down for another minute. Taking that break, letting those hip flexors relax, letting those hips relax. You can either stay here for that last minute, or you can come back up rejuvenated, ready to face forward again, or you take that extra time that you need. Let's tuck those back, toes under, and come back into tabletop. Make any adjustments you need to. Grab some water if you want it. We're going to go right into that other side. So we're going to bring that leg around. We're going to wrong leg. Let's try it again. Let's try that again. If you were in the right position, good for you. I'm glad you're paying attention. All right, so we're going to start up nice and high. Saying I have this little pillow underneath my hip just for support. And I don't think of forgetting what side you're doing as a bad thing. I think of it as I was just too into the zone. That's why sometimes it's great to just have someone guide you, so you don't have to worry about it. All you have to worry about is yourself and your body for that time. If you want to come down lower, this is the time to do so. The stretch is intensifying, but there's still no pain. And then when you're ready, coming up one more time. Or staying down, your choice. This is the last of our heart openers for today. All right, tuck those back toes under. Oh, and come back to your tabletop. All right, let's swing those legs around. And what I want you to do is hug those knees in. Give yourself a huge hug. And you decide how you want to spend your Shavasana today. Do you want to spend it in this little hug shape? Do you want to roll on the ground and kind of be in a fetal position? Do you want to have your feet propped up against a wall or a bed or a couch? Do you want to just be open and accept whatever goodness comes in from a more Shavasana traditional position? You decide, and we have 2 minutes here that we're going to spend together in the final position. So you decide what you want to do. I'm going to do the feet up. Added a nice little counter to the positions we just did, but you decide. Or you can do kind of a modified. So I'm doing this hands open, palms up, receiving the fresh air, with also my feet up in the sky, towards the sky, so you can decide. And there doesn't have to be any sort of religious connotation to yoga, unless you want to give it to it, of course. It can just be a good karma in, good karma out type of situation. Other nature. Yoga can be for everybody. No matter what your age, where you are in the position of life experiences. We're here for about another minute. If your legs were up, bring them down and kind of hug them in to your chest. And then bring those feet to the ground. When you are ready, and only when you are ready, you're going to bat those eyes open and sit up nice and slow. However you find the most comfort. And I want to thank you for joining me on this Yoga for Heavy Heart edition. This was a special request, and if you have a special request, I would love to do it. So please let me know. You can either do it publicly by just putting a comment below, or you can just definitely just send something nice and quiet to fitness@miter.org. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you later.